Hi everybody, this is Miss Madeline. Today I'm at the Gilbert Park School Garden, and for our garden lesson today we are going to start off with a little riddle to have you guess what we are learning about. Here's the riddle. I have something in my pocket that is older than the dinosaurs. It's more important than money, and it can fall without breaking. What is it? What do you think? The thing I have in my pocket is water. So today's garden lesson is all about water. Have you used water today? By the time you're doing this lesson, you've probably used water in many different ways. Water is super duper important, and we are going to talk about why.
Why is water important? What do you think?
Water is necessary for all life on Earth, our plants, our animals, down to the tiniest creatures living in the soil that we learned about last month. Everything needs water.
How does water help the garden?
The garden is full of plants and animals, and all of them need water too. That's why we as gardeners sometimes have to give water to the garden. But do we have to give water to the garden on a day like today? I don't think so. We're getting plenty of water today from the sky.
What would life on Earth be like without water?
Without water, life on Earth wouldn't exist at all. Every single living thing needs water. Imagine the moon or Mars. That might be what Earth would look like without its water.
Where does water come from?
Water's been on Earth for a very long time, but it doesn't just come from a water factory. In fact, we can't make brand new water. We have all the water we're ever going to have on Earth right now. So where is it all the time? It's in different parts of the water cycle. Water travels through the water cycle in different stages. Imagine a warm, sunny day. What happens to water when it gets heated up, maybe by the sun? It rises up into the air, and that is called evaporation. Water moving up through the air is evaporation. That water that's in the air travels up, up, up into the sky where it gets cold. When that water gets cold, it forms a cloud, and we call that condensation. Condensation. You can see condensation right now up in the sky on this very cloudy day. Sometimes all that water in the clouds gets really heavy and the clouds can't hold on to it anymore. That's when it falls as rain, or as we call it in the water cycle, precipitation. Precipitation. And precipitation can be snow or hail or other forms of water falling from the sky. And where does all that rain or snow or hail go after it falls? Well, it flows into rivers and oceans, or flows right into the ground. And we call that part collection. So a pond, or even all the soil in our garden, that's holding on to water as collection. And then on the next sunny, warm day, that water will rise up through evaporation and start the cycle all over again. To help you remember some of these big words we have in the water cycle, I'm going to teach you a fun song. The song goes like this. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, that's the way. Round and round goes the water cycle, never stopping every day. Let's do it again, and this time try to sing along with me, or you can just do my hand motions. Evaporation, condensation, precipitation, that's the way. Round and round goes the water cycle, never stopping every day. The next thing we'll do is go out into the garden on a raindrop hunt and see what water we can find. But before I go, I'm going to take a few deep breaths to calm my body and make sure I'm really focused so I can pay attention to all the water out there. Here we go. Feel free to breathe along with me. right, we're looking for water in the garden. I've got my handy dandy magnifying lens. And let's see, ooh, do we see any water droplets on the kale? Yes, look at those water drops from the rain. What part of the water cycle did those come from? You got it, precipitation. I noticed some raindrops on these leaves. Is there water in the soil? Let's take a look. It looks pretty wet. Sometimes you have to feel soil in order to tell if it's wet. Oh yeah, that feels pretty wet to me. What part of the water cycle is this water in the soil? It's collection. I noticed these mushrooms in the garden. They definitely look wet. They've got raindrops on them. And mushrooms are made mostly up of water. So they are a sign that there's a lot of water in the garden. All right, we successfully found a lot of raindrops and water in our garden. If you go out and do this on a rainy day, you will easily find some raindrops, but if it's not raining, you might have to look a little more closely to find out where the water is hiding. Now I'm going to show you an activity that you can do at home inside if you want to. It's a little bit messy, so you may want to lay down some newspaper if you're doing it inside, or you can do it outside like me. You don't need any special art equipment for this activity. The main ingredient you'll need is water. You'll also need a container to put your water in and a little bit of soil to mix with it, because we are going to be making our very own soil and water paints. You'll also want a piece of paper to do your artwork on. I've decided to draw an outline of my artwork in marker ahead of time so I can fill in the spaces with my soil paint. I'm going to look around the garden for some soil to put in my container. I want to try to find soil that is an interesting color, because that might affect what color my soil paint turns out to be. Let's see. Now that I have my soil, I'm going to add the teeniest tiniest bit of water to this and stir it up to make it into kind of a muddy paste. Ooh, paint! Now let's see if my muddy concoction will work as a finger paint. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. A muddy cloud. That worked pretty well. I'm excited about my painting, and now I'm curious to see if I chose a different soil from another part of the garden to see if that would make another color so that I could add some variety to my painting. So let's try that. It looks like the soil in our raised beds is much darker in color than the soil underneath the grass. So let's see if that makes a totally different paint color for our painting. Ta-da! I invite you to try making your own finger paints at home with just soil and our friend water. If you want to share your creation with me, you can email that to me at mmiller@growportland.org. Thanks for joining us today as we discover water, and I will see you all next time.